Hey guys, good morning. Namaste. Why now it's necessary that India must change its Tibet policy? There is so many factors behind that why I am saying this. India needs to change its Tibet policy. The most important thing is that China's five key five palm strategy. China consider Tibet as its palm, and that's five finger is Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, either Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. These are the five keys. These are the five fingers of the palm, and China consider its area of influence. So we have to change our Tibet policy. Until unless we not change our Tibet policy, then up to what time China always try to get these five fingers with palm. So first of all, from the Ladakh, there is already a bloody clash in Galwan in Ladakh, and still three or four friction points are still unresolved. Only friction points are solved in Galwan, which is take bloody clash after 1962 war. Second thing is that in Oli there is an exercise between India and USA armed forces, and China is objecting this. Why China is objecting this? Oli is in India. It's a basic rights for India to do exercise with any country. What is the problem in this? But China's got irritated because USA is now in Himalayas. So that's why their strategies are going to be failed. Second most thing is that always in Sikkim, they are trying to encroach it, and they are always eyes on the Chicken Neck corridor. The Chicken Neck corridor is that corridor which joins entire Northeast India with the mainland India. So they want to cut this Chicken Neck corridor and want to separate entire Northeast from the India. So we have to change our Dipat policy, because we have to now give the proper official recognition of the exiled Tibetan government, and we have to set up an embassy in New Delhi, asking them to function from New Delhi, not from Dharamsala. It's a beneficial for India if we give the proper residence from the exiled Tibetan government in New Delhi and give them proper functional space. Then now world recognize that Tibetan is also a separate government, not in the part of China. That is the basic functions we have to do first of all. That second most important thing is that in Arunachal Pradesh in Tawang recently there is a bloody clash between the Indian armed forces and Chinese armed forces. So we have to learn a lesson. Until and unless we cannot give China reply in their own language, until then the China pokes us. So we have to prepare with the both front, from the diplomacy as well as the war. We have to prepare for the both, because already our armed forces are on the border line, and their Chinese sides also they have the huge presence of the armed forces in the border line. The most important eye of China on Daulat Beg Oldie sector road, which connects entire Ladakh. So they want to cut that road so that India will not access the entire stretch. Their main policy is in that in Ladakh. In Arunachal Pradesh, they want Tawang, so that easily they come to the Siliguri corridor. So we have to proper take care of our weak points, and we have to prepare a huge force at Tawang, at Chicken X corridor, at Galwan. So we have to maintain our presence so that China did not surprise us, that like that Galwan Valley surprise. So the most important thing is that we have to galvanize world community that China is an expansionist country, and we have to take care of it by the hook or crook, by defense or by diplomacy. So this is the most important and major thing India must do, that it acts its diplomacy. It gives message to entire democracy that China is an expansionist country and they want to grab the land of its neighbors. You know, China is the single country which have near about 15 or 16 land borders, but its disputes are more than for 30 countries. It's a unique because it's a dispute in the South China Sea, also Philippines, Vietnam, everyone have the dispute with the China. So we have to leverage its defense in our favor. China wants to encircle us in the Indian Ocean, so it's now making a bases in Sri Lanka, Gwadar, Djibouti, so that they can encircle India in the Indian Ocean. But we have to take a counter of the Chinese phenomena. We have to develop our own string of pearls in the Indian Ocean, so we can give them befitting reply to them. We have to do whatever the possible to make the China understand our language, that India is not the India of 1962. We can give them beef hitting reply in sea, in land, in any part of the world. So it's necessary that we prepare our special forces, and now we have to change our policy. We are not defensive, we must be offensive. We have to do the battle on the enemy land, not on our land defending our territory. Suppose that if there is a war between India and China, we have to fight the war in Aksai Chin, so that if our armed forces come back, then it's also in the Chinese land. So must be offensive, not be defensive. This is the strategy. We have to always keep poking on the UNO that the Tibet is not the part of China, and we have to support the Dalai Lama also. There is the Dalai Lama card also there. So we have to encourage Dalai Lama to be the next Prime Minister President of the Tibet and seated in the New Delhi in the embassy, so that every country can get interact with them. This is the good idea, that if we give the proper recognition of exile government of Tibet in Dharamsala, then it's a great slap on the face of China. That China one China policy is only possible if China recognize one India policy. That is the most important. So bring the diplomacy of the Tibetan exile government in Delhi and give them full recognition and support internationally. Then China recognize Arunachal Pradesh and Ladakh is the part of India. Unless until China did not recognize. You write about this and you like my channel, subscribe my channel. Thank you and have a nice day.